In this video, we are going to be looking at 3 simple rules that, if followed, are going to increase your daily serotonin, improve your daily energy levels and mood, and make it easier to get that deep, restful, valuable sleep that obviously aligns with your fitness goals in a lot of different ways. These are natural, simple, and effective strategies for getting your hormones in rhythm in a way that you will feel the results today and for years to come. In this video, we are going to be exploring what are these hormones, serotonin and melatonin, why they matter, the 3 rules to follow from now on, and how to easily, seamlessly integrate them into your life. So what is serotonin? Again, it's a neurotransmitter hormone thing, so it communicates around the nervous systems. 10% is produced in the brain, and 90% is produced in the gut lining and is released there. So your gut has a huge influence. We're going to talk about gut health in another video. But serotonin influences learning, memory, happiness, or even body temperature regulation. Obviously, it plays a big role in sleep cycles, which is a lot of what we're talking about today. Sexual behavior, hunger, and all of that. Simply said, if your serotonin is messed up, you are not going to feel or act like the peak performer you could be. Now, you've probably heard of serotonin in relation to depression, anxiety, maybe bipolar disorder or something like that, right? And yes, it plays a role there, but that's the lack of serotonin and serotonin receptivity. We're exploring all the natural but incredibly effective ways to optimize our serotonin cycles. What about melatonin? Melatonin and serotonin actually switches from one to the other. So melatonin is usually produced in response to either darkness or just your normal sleep time approaching. The thing is that being exposed to light, specifically the blue light frequency band, can block melatonin production and can lead to much worse sleep onset, like insomnia, or just damaging sleep quality. And melatonin is available as a supplement, in natural or synthetic forms, but that is not what I am suggesting here. I'm a much bigger fan of producing my chemicals from within by naturally working with what we have, rather than relying on external supplements and possibly causing issues with receptivity and sensitivity. Now, quick recap if you haven't watched the sleep video yet. This matters if we want a positive mood by default, if we want to show up alert and focused, if we want the energy and performance that is available to us on a daily basis, if we want improved decision making and even more willpower throughout the day, right? And the opposite of that would be craggy mood, tired, easily distracted, poorer performance, which is not what we want, worse decision making, which who knows where that would lead us, and decreased willpower, which means that it's probably going to take a lot longer to reach our goals if we ever actually see those milestones get passed at all. Poor sleep makes everything harder, and we've all felt that. What a lot of people do not talk about is why getting blue light is so important. This is really important. I see people wearing their blue light blocking glasses in the middle of the day, and that is just silly for the reasons that we're about to talk about. So the benefits of getting natural blue light exposure at the right times includes regulating that circadian rhythm. You need the positive to the negative, not just blocking out blue light at the end of the day. We also need to be exposed to blue light, ideally from the sun in the morning, with sunrise, right? And so this will regulate our internal body clock and actually make it easier to sleep better and fall asleep faster in the evening. And that's just getting light in the morning. And when it comes to daily peak performance in mind and body, getting that blue light in the morning will help boost alertness. There is a little bit of cortisol that comes with that, and that's actually what we want at that time of day. It also promotes vitamin D synthesis, of course, which is vital for bone health, muscle function, immune function, and even cancer inhibition. Now, if you like to feel good like me, then you know that getting a good natural light exposure, blue light exposure in the morning boosts serotonin levels, and you get to enjoy those benefits all day. And that can improve your motivation, your willpower, right? And reduce risk of depression, which sounds like great news to me. Tim Ferriss famously states that, he's had a lot of major depressive episodes in life, and this is something that he gets a little anxious about. And so when he travels to a cloudy place where he might not be able to get much sunshine, he brings artificial blue lights with him that he can put on in the morning, and that's go right over the eyes. They're funny little glasses, or even like a blue light panel that he can make sure that he gets this blue light exposure, so it decreases his risk of a major depressive episode. Even if we aren't that prone to depression, it is a great lesson to learn from, that this does work, it does make a difference. When it comes to fitness and performance, proper circadian rhythm regulation actually enhances muscle repair, recovery, and even muscle growth because we are sleeping better. So we can actually see more gains from this. It also enhances reaction time and alertness so that we can maybe work out more effectively, play sports at a higher level, improve coordination, all of that. Overall, it's just increasing energy. So whatever you want to do with that energy, you're probably going to perform better if your circadian rhythm is working properly. Avoiding artificial blue light at night is just as important for basically all the same reasons, right? We are trying to protect our sleep quality, and we want to regulate our hormones so that we feel our best and perform our best. And it's not just cortisol, serotonin, and melatonin. All the hormones work together, and if we are going for peak performance, then we need our sleep, we need our circadian rhythm to be working with us, or us working with it rather. It's amazing how much of a boost in mental performance and physical performance, even things like the time it takes to heal yourself when you are not exposing yourself to blue light at night, when you are sleeping better in general. And this can make it even easier to reach your fitness goals directly because of the role hormones play in your cravings, fat storage, and metabolism in general. So what are the 3 rules? Rule number 1, avoid blue light from sunset to dawnbreak. Ideally, if you're a shift worker, you work nights or something, you do something like that, try to make it relevant to whatever your sleep and wake cycle is. Number 2, get natural light exposure every day that you can. Ideally, that is sunrise and that is sunset, as well as mid-morning direct sunlight on the skin and in the eyes. And that's a more intense blue light that does all the wonderful things that we just talked about. Now, if you are living in an underground base, or you are on an airplane, or you live in the Arctic Circle where the sun doesn't shine for 6 months or something, then you can supplement this with artificial blue light panels that are the correct frequency. They're powerful and they mimic, and the body responds in a very, very similar way. But I like the natural stuff, the sunshine, and all the benefits with that. It's also free and cheap and available almost everywhere in the world. Sooner or later, even if you're stuck in a plane, you can get outside at some point, set your circadian rhythm very quickly. And the bonus here is, I travel around the world all the time. I never get jet lag. I might sleep really deeply for 1 or 2 nights on arrival, maybe a couple of extra hours there too, but I never feel tired throughout the day. It's consistent because I get out in the sunshine when I want to get out in the sunshine, and I tone down all the blue light at the right time at night. Rule number 3 is a bit funny, and it's accept and commit. Because, okay, you're going to know these rules, and you're also probably going to go out at some point and be exposed to lights after dark, or maybe before your sunrise or something, right? So accept the things that you cannot change, and change the things that you can. So what can you change? What will you change moving forwards, right? 1, if you aren't already, you will use a quality screen filter, not a garbage one that just makes it look red. There's a big difference in software, firmware, whatever, right? That actually modifies your screen in the correct way to not emit that frequency of blue light. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. Another thing you can do is change your lighting, at least in your house and outside your house. Besides from just using less lights, you can actually go in and improve the light bulbs themselves. And so I'm going to leave some links to the right kind of light bulbs in the description that you can check out that actually do not emit that frequency of blue light that'll keep you up at night. Now, if you want to be real fancy, you'll have a light switch for the morning, like mid-morning when you want the blue light and you're having to work inside. And then you'll have a light switch for after sunset that you can turn on that doesn't have that blue light, and it's probably going to look red in color. 3, you can wear blue blocker glasses, true blue blocker glasses, not the fake ones, not the 20% ones, not the 50% ones. Go for the 99% blue blockers, and they're probably going to look orange, and you won't be able to see blue. The test is you try to look at something blue, and it'll look gray. You try to look at something green, and it'll look like really weird green. You try to look at something purple, and it'll look slightly red. And that way you know that it's a true blue blocker. So if you happen to work on the computer, try to not edit colors at night because you're not going to be able to see colors correctly. The 4th thing that you can change is how you respond to FOMO, which is fear of other people's opinions. Because I get it. Some of these things are a little inconvenient and you're going to look weird, and there's going to be people that have opinions. Especially if you go out and you're wearing glasses. Yes, you get comments. Are you going to fear other people's opinions? Or are you just going to accept them? and be like, yeah, I'm doing my thing. I value my sleep. I value my daily energy. I value my recovery. I value peak performance. And, you're judging me because you don't think these glasses are very cool looking. Well, I'm not going to change what I'm doing because of that opinion. Remember, when the awkward social situations come up, or you don't want to spend another $20 on trying to find a different light bulb or something, well, the fear of other people's opinions, fear of maybe spending a little bit of money on something that's good for you, versus value-aligned actions that will make your life better and make your performance better and mean that you can give better gifts to the world while we're here. Remember the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Here's a few tips for seamlessly integrating it into your life. When the sun isn't up, avoid screens, bulbs, and LEDs that are not a low-intensity red. Think like a firelight. Fire doesn't have blue light. Use incandescent, like the old school incandescent, or halogen bulbs where possible, because they don't flicker as much and they have a warmer color temperature generally. Or those fancy light bulbs that I talked about, again, they're in the description. Use iristech.co on all of your screens if you're going to be looking at them after sunset, anywhere close to bedtime. And you can automate this technology to align with your local time zone, so it's all easy peasy. There's a few settings you can play depending on how much intensity you can handle. I'm a little bit more on the intense side because, like I said, I value this and I'm okay sacrificing some pretty colors for it. And if you're going to use Iris Tech, I have a link for you in the bottom where you can get a month-long free trial or something and really enjoy it. But other than that, it's only like $2 per month. It's well worth the money, supporting a good thing. Number 2 is combining these activities and basically creating what I call power stacks. For example, working out in the morning before breakfast is great, so you could combine that with being outside while grounded to the earth, and maybe it's cold outside, so you're getting cold exposure as well. And you're doing multiple things that are beneficial. Maybe you're walking the dog as well as being barefoot, as well as being in the cold, as well as getting the sunshine in your eyes and in your skin in the morning. Another example of this would be winding down at night with just a candlelight dinner and a candlelight conversation or a meditation or something. That's a big difference. That is going to make a huge difference to your quality of life and your quality of sleep, rather than watching some big scary action movie, which is going to spike your cortisol whether you like it or not, whether you feel scared or not. Watching an action movie is going to throw your hormones for a loop, and that is really not good before bed. A couple of times a year, you might be able to accept that deal as a sacrifice for what it is, but otherwise, maybe life is just going to be better sacrificing all of those movies before bed. As usual, please share your experience with anybody that'll listen to you, including a rock or a dog or a tree, and me, of course. Text me, let me know what your insights are, and if you are struggling to implement any of these, or you're wondering if it's really worth the cost, maybe we can create a yet unseen win-win solution for you.